Apple has discontinued the last remaining iPod, the iPod Touch, ending what was almost a 21-year lifespan. And I bet that almost all of you watching this video have had at least one iPod at some point. Let me know in the comments, which iPod was your first? My very first iPod was this one right here, the 3rd generation iPod Nano that my mom bought me in 2007, 15 years ago. Wow, time surely flies. And this iPod was very special to me, as it was really what started my interest in Apple, which eventually made me start ZONEofTECH. Oh, and speaking of starting ZONEofTECH, we've now started a new Shorts channel, ZONEofTECH Shorts. Check it out if you want to see tips and tricks and some fun quick videos. But yeah, it is really sad to see the iPod gone. But why? Why did they can it? As the iPod was really what truly propelled Apple as a company globally. In fact, in my own home country, Romania, the first Apple products to even appear were the iPods. Well, once the iPhone launched, it started cannibalizing the iPod sales. Apple did launch the iPod Touch to combat that, which did do incredibly well for its first few years. But that all changed in 2012, 5 years after the Touch's launch, when more and more people already had iPhones, and Apple then stopped updating the Touch on a yearly basis. And since 2012, it's been a downfall for the iPods, with the iPod Classic being discontinued in 2014, the Shuffle and the Nano being discontinued in 2017, and then the iPod Touch finally being discontinued in 2022. But why not keep the Touch and update it with a newer model instead? After all, it was the only iPod that could run iOS, and therefore it was fully compatible with the rest of Apple's ecosystem. Well, I think that even at its $200 price point, which is less than half of that of an iPhone SE, very few people actually bought it. The Touch used to be ideal for children, but nowadays, parents simply give their previous gen phones when they upgrade. And you can now find some super affordable tablets on Amazon which are far more ideal for children thanks to their larger display and increased durability. The only other people who I've actually seen generally buy iPod Touches were developers who needed an affordable iOS device for development, and the iPod Touch was just that. Plus, if you now want a super affordable iOS device, you can simply buy a refurbished iPhone SE for $220, which is not only a fully fledged phone with cellular connectivity so that you're not dependent on Wi-Fi, but it also has a far better camera, better performance, and it also has a larger and a more usable display. And with cellular on the go, you get full access to Apple services all the time, which surely Apple prefers you to do, as that would justify paying for their services more. Even if Apple had updated the iPod Touch with a brand new design, the market for it would have been incredibly small, and it wouldn't have justified the R&D costs. In fact, Apple couldn't even justify updating this plastic box to the more sustainable cardboard boxes that Apple has been shipping all of their devices in. So instead of updating the iPods, Apple moved all of their functionality onto other Apple devices. The insane storage capacity of the iPod Classic has now moved onto the iPhone, which can now be configured with even 1 terabyte of storage. The extreme portability of the iPod Shuffle and Nano has moved onto the Apple Watch. Remember the 6th gen Nano that people were using with watch straps on their wrist? Well, you now have an actual Apple Watch for that, which can not only wirelessly stream your music to your AirPods, but it even has cellular connectivity and GPS and can fully track your workouts. Like, you can literally call a taxi from your wrist. But okay, is there anything that I actually miss about using an iPod? Well, I really do miss the simplicity of it. Every single iPod, with the exception of the Touch, was a single-purpose device. I mean, sure, some did support video, but most people use them just for listening to music. And the reason why I bought most of these iPods last year, by the way, was because I really missed that. Whenever I use an iPhone to listen to 10 minutes of music, I often get distracted by notifications, so I'm never really fully immersed, if you get me. With an iPod, it's a completely different story. I get fully immersed as it cannot really do anything else. It is a shame, though, that this is officially the end of an era. However, unofficially, the iPod still very much lives on. There are plenty of refurbished iPods that you can find on Amazon or eBay, some in a pretty good working condition. There's also a fairly large community of modders that not only refurbish iPod Classics with a fresh new battery, but some even replace their hard drive with SD cards in order to give them as much as 2 terabytes of storage, double of what the highest capacity iPhone offers today. There is a website that can do this for you. It's called Elite Obsolete Electronics, and you can literally customize an iPod Classic from them by choosing the casing, the storage capacity, as well as the battery size. They are very expensive, but if you do want to have a 2 terabyte iPod to put a lifetime of songs on it and listen to without any distractions, it might actually be worth it. And there are even crazier projects that some people have attempted, like even getting Spotify to work on an iPod Classic. And not even to mention the collector market booming, and with myself even actively collecting them. Speaking of, let me show you what I have so far. In terms of the shuffles, I have a sealed first gen shuffle in mint condition. This is the rarest one that I have. I also have the second gen shuffle, also sealed in this beautiful blue. Then the third gen, also sealed, which didn't actually have any buttons, by the way. It fully relied on those headphone controls. And then here I have my fourth gen shuffle, also sealed, which was simply a smaller second gen. The shuffle then got discontinued in 2017, so 7 years after Apple released the 4th gen. In terms of my Nano collection, this is my favorite collection, by the way. I have the first gen in mint condition. Then I have a couple of second gens, all of them, aside from the pink and the red. The black and the blue still work perfectly, even today. The silver and the green sadly cannot hold a charge anymore, but they are brand new with all of their accessories in the box. You've already seen my silver 3rd gen Nano, but I also have a brand new one in black. I then have two 4th gen Nanos, both used, but both working perfectly fine. Then I have a sealed 5th gen Nano. I don't actually have the 6th gen, but I do have the 7th gen in blue and red, both working perfectly fine. Oh, and the 7th gen Nano is a very interesting one, as it uses Lightning and it also has Bluetooth. So if you ever wanted a super affordable iPod to use your AirPods with, this is the one. When it comes to the Classic, I have two of them, both 7th gen ones. One that is still sealed, and one that I've opened and actually used quite a bit, literally bought music from iTunes to manually put in. And when it comes to the iPod Touch, I've got a 2nd gen sealed, a 7th gen sealed, and then also another 7th gen that I'm actually using every now and then. Yeah, for a couple of months last year, I was exclusively using the iPod Touch whenever I went outdoors, mostly because of its extreme portability and the fact that I could use my AirPods and download podcasts and music to it easily. I've also used my Nanos outdoors, both the 2nd gen and the 7th gen, and I gotta say, I did enjoy using the 7th gen the most. Bluetooth is just awesome to have on an iPod. And then of course that I've also been using my iPod Classic outdoors quite a bit for when I wanted to store a large library of songs, while at the same time not being distracted by any notifications whatsoever. I'm just collecting these for the sake of nostalgia, but to be honest, I do believe that their value and interest would increase over time, just like vinyl discs have recently boomed in popularity. The world is definitely not over with iPods, as they still have a place in our hearts, whether this is in actual physical form or in the transcended form that the iPhone has become. And the best part is that Apple is fully behind this, with even the 1st gen iPod being fully supported in macOS. But what do you guys think of the iPod in general? And what was your very first iPod? Let me know in the comments. Oh, and if you want to actually buy an iPod, I've left some affiliate links down below. Get them while they last. I'm Daniel, this has been ZONEofTECH, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.